everybody. Today we are going to talk about layer mask, which is a very fun thing to learn. Let's go to the exercise file, shall we? So right now we are in the folder ep15_5, and what I'd like for you to do is select the red yellow Photoshop document, the PSD file over here. So right click, open with Adobe Photoshop, and there you have it. Basically a simple graphic with a red layer and a yellow layer. Okay, so we got red over yellow. So what is layers? Well, a lot of times we want the other, like another layer to showcase. In other words, the red, as long as the red is on the top layer over here, we can't see the yellow layer unless we hide the red layer. Or if we take the eraser tool. So if I was to take the eraser tool here, okay, and depending on the size, that's how I can kind of see the layer below. Okay, so as you can see right there, I'm having a lot of yellow here suddenly appear. But look what's happening to my red layer. There's a lot of destruction over there. And so that's what we don't want sometimes. We want to maintain that layer for, well, whatever reason. So in this case, I got to go back up, get my red layer back using the history tool. I got to go way back to the very first layer over there and sort of kind of just do the deed there. Okay, so yeah, we don't want that. Okay, another way I can go ahead and cut through, of course, is not only yellow, the eraser tool. I can go ahead and take the marquee tool and have the red layer selected, and then press delete. But still, look what happened. There's a hole in my red. Well, let me show you a much better non-destructive way, and that is the use of layer mask. Well, the layer mask is right over here. Okay, now say I want the yellow to show up. Okay, so basically I select the red because in essence I want the yellow to show through the red. Well, at least show in addition to the red. So selecting the red layer, or layer 2, I click on this icon way down below. Okay, add layer mask, and when I click, you'll notice in the layer there is another little small icon that appears, and it's selected. See, I can select one or the other. You see those little lines, or those little border lines around each icon? Okay, so this, when I select this, the border icons, that means that layer mask is activated, that I am ready to do something. If I select the red thumbnail here, that means the red layer is selected, and that's that. Okay, so I want to make sure that the layer mask is selected. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and select the marquee tool, the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Now watch what happens. I got to make sure now my mask layer is selected. I'm going to use, there's two colors involved here, the black layer, the black and the white. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure the black is in the foreground. I'm going to use my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to pour inside this marquee. Watch what happens. Boom, the yellow layer appears. But look at this thumbnail. It's non-destructive. Nothing happened. It's still there. Okay, and if I don't want that, okay, if I don't want this yellow, watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and switch. I'm going to switch to the black and the white, and make sure now the white is in the foreground. I have my paint bucket selected. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the marquee area again, and look at this, the red reappears. There's only two colors involved with layer mask, black and white. Black makes the layer below appear, whereas white makes it disappear. As simple as that. Alrighty, so once again, if I choose black down here, okay, if I make the black the foreground color and use the paint bucket tool, I'm going to go ahead and paint in here. Look at that. And if I was to take the eraser tool, there's the eraser tool, and I'm going to try to make it find a different brush here, because the one that I'm using is not really quite working that well. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find a different brush. Alrighty, let's see now. Hopefully that works. If not, I'll select another brush. And look at that. Okay, so there you see that? I'm actually now coloring black. Okay, see, I'm using the black color to color into the red layer, but again, it's not doing anything. You see, look at this thumbnail right here. It's not doing anything. All right, now I can go ahead and right click and delete layer mask right there. You see delete layer mask, remove it, and guess what? The red comes back and it's not destroyed or anything like that. Pretty awesome. Well, let's go ahead and apply this to some images, shall we? All right, inside the same EP1 folder, let's go ahead and, well, let's try to put in a model, okay, the face model, and the lion. Let's bring those two together. Open with Photoshop, all right, and there we have it. Well, the first thing is that we got to make sure that this beautiful model is with this beautiful lion. Now, rule number one, you got to make sure that both images are somewhat similar in size. And the way to do that is, first of all, you want to go to, well, let's look at the lion first. Let's go to image size. So it's about 700 by 672. Alrighty, cool. So now let's go to the model. Image size. Okay, way bigger. Let's bring this down to say 1,000. Okay, there we go. All right, pretty cool. And let's go ahead and, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is copywritten information. Okay, you want to select the background, and I would also unlock it. See that? Just by clicking on the lock button, you can click and unlock it. That way you can select it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and just use the marquee tool here to select just her image, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go back to the lion and just edit paste. See that? Now I've got one on top of the other. So what I'm going to try to do is make the lion appear, you know, at the same layer, or at least with the model here. Now again, I can go ahead and create a layer mask, make sure the model is selected. There it is right there. And what I can do is take the eraser tool again. Let's go to the eraser tool and let's choose a nice eraser brush right here, and let me go ahead and increase the brush. Sorry, let's do it again. Let's kind of increase it, and let's do this. Now I can go ahead and see, select that, and it's not working. So let me see. Okay, there we go. It's kind of working there. I had to make the eraser, the black, the background. Okay, so because it was white, it wasn't showing anything. So when you erase, it's got to be the background. Okay, so there we go. Look at that, pretty cool. So now she's turning into a nice looking lion, probably getting ready for Halloween. Okay, now that might be a little confusing. So, but notice that she is not destroyed or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and undo it all. I'm going to go back to history. Actually, I'm just going to keep pressing Command Z or Control Z if you're using it Windows. So this time I'm just going to use a brush tool, and with the brush tool, again, I'm going to use some sort of soft round brush. Okay, there we go. Make it bigger. All right, hardness 0, and now I'm going to go ahead and again, I'm going to make sure this time that the black is the foreground, because this time with a brush I'm actually painting. Alright, and there we go again. Okay, this time, actually I'm going to undo it. This time I'm going to work on the lower half of the face. Let's see. Alright, so now it's not really happening because the noses don't match, but that's easy to fix because now I can select the first layer with the lion, use the move tool, and kind of, or actually maybe I should see if I can bring him up, but it seems like, well, looks, what I would do at this point, if I can't seem to move the bottom layer, I would just lock it. I click this icon right here, now it won't move. So I select my layer 1, and now look at that, I'm actually moving. There we go. Well, isn't she a charmer? Alrighty, so let me show you another really cool thing. Again, I'm going to undo everything, Command Z or Control Z, until everything's back to, well, the way we originally have it. And as you can see right now, we have the beautiful lady with the layer mask and the lion by himself. Let's use the gradient tool. Look at this now. Let's, again, making sure that we have black and white. There it is. And if we select the paint buckets tool and then the gradient tool, okay, once again the gradient tool, and on top over here we got to make sure that the gradient icon, it goes from black into white. Now you may want to edit this a little bit, okay, and make sure, let's go ahead and click here and make sure that there's a little bit more black. It doesn't look like much black, so there it is right there. So if I move this stop down here a little bit more, the black kind of goes across more. I'm going to press OK. So now it kind of looks like it's a 50-50. Alright, watch this. I'm going to go ahead and start from her head, and didn't work. Sorry. That's because I didn't have the layer mask selected. I gotta have this layer mask selected. Now watch this. There we go. See that? And I can go from the bottom on up if I wanted to. Alrighty, so that's what it's all about. So enjoy your layer mask. This is Mr. Hague. We'll see you later. And by the way, we have a special treat. If you're interested in continue with the layer mask, go ahead and watch the next video, and we will do a nice little artwork if you like.